guys, I'm just picking up some garbage today. You know, it just freaks me out. Like, people throw garbage on the earth instead of just putting it in a bag or putting it into the garbage can. It's weird, right? Could you imagine, like, if your mom was lying on the couch, let's say, watching a TV show or just having a rest, and you went up to her and just started throwing garbage on her? What do you think your mom would do? Do you think she'd freak out? I would. You know what? This is a special day. I'm in a place called Pickering. And for most of you, you know I live in Alberta. I came here on a plane, which was really exciting. And when I was a kid, like you, I used to go bottle collecting with my best friend at the time, her brother and her sister. It was really fun. We loved it. In fact, I wanted to be a garbage man when I grew up. I thought that would be the coolest job on the planet. Well, guess what? I have a friend. Marla and I and Nicole have a friend. She's not a garbage man, but she loves cleaning up the earth. And you're gonna meet her later. Her name's Toby. It's awesome what she does. And you know, the best part of it is, she just decided to do it all on her own. Nobody told her you should do this. It just came up like a great idea and she started doing it. And now she's helping our beautiful Mother Earth get cleaned up. I'm gonna pick up some more garbage over there. There's more over here. You know what I always think of when I pick up garbage, and my friend Toby and I were talking about this, especially stuff like this straw, right? So if your dog came along here and got this straw stuck in his mouth, he might die, he might choke. Or if this straw showed up and landed in the water, he also might, a fish might get it in its mouth and die. So we want to clean up stuff like this so our animal friends, we never have to worry about them. So anytime I see particularly plastic, I always pick it up. And it's so easy. I can just put it in my pocket and get rid of it later. It's cool. I love cleaning up. See you later. So, you know what was the best part? When I was out with my girlfriend Karina and her brother and sister and we were collecting bottles, was being together. That was the best part. We would walk along the highways, the roads. Pickering looked a lot different then. There's a lot of farmland. And I really loved, I didn't realize how much, but just us being together was really, really important and really fun. Well, now my friend Karina lives on the other side of the world. She lives in Australia. And do you remember Koala Bear? And if you haven't met Koala Bear, circle back to some of our other episodes. There's one about Halloween where you'll meet Koala Bear there. Well, Koala is now in Australia. Koala was on the big airplane and went to Australia and is there now with our friend Bianca. And Bianca is going to talk to you about, with Koala's help, about good garbage. If you're out, let's say, with your friends picking up garbage and you find stuff like this, like an orange or leaves or even some old flowers, they can go into the compost. And the compost then, with some other tricks, and we'll learn about that, because remember, this is about magic. And remember our friend Alfie, he loves magic. The compost is going to disappear all this stuff and it's going to turn back into rich soil, and then we're going to use that rich soil to grow new things, new beautiful things. Hey, you know another thing I used to do when I was a kid? I used to love feeding the birds. And just here on Lake Ontario, where I used to always love to go swimming, we used to come down and feed the birds all the time. Now, as you know, if I started feeding them, look what would happen. Hey guys, they would eat it, right? But you know what? I learned from a good friend of mine. feeding the ducks bread and the birds bread isn't actually really good for them. It actually gives them a tummy ache. I didn't know that. And I kind of felt sad because at that time, that was the way I could interact, connect with the birds. Like, you know what I do now? Just hang out by a tree, or look at this beautiful tree here, and I'll just meditate with them. I'll just watch them, and I'll learn and see what they do. And maybe they can teach me something. Well, one thing for sure they've taught us is how to fly, right? I wouldn't have made it over here in an airplane if it wasn't for our amazing birds. So I'm not eating bread anymore. I'm not feeding bread. I'm still eating bread, but I'm not feeding bread to the birds anymore. I've found other ways to commune with them. And you can too. Let me know how you do it.
Hello, my name's Toby. I'm the litter lady. I've got to be known as the litter lady. Why? Because as I walked down here, just within that last 30 seconds, I see lots of garbage. I see litter. And it upsets me to see the litter. And it's like, why are people putting litter on the ground, which ends up in our ecosystem, instead of putting it in the bins that are provided by the communities they live in? So over time it was bothering me so much, and I figure I can make a difference. I don't need people, a group, I don't need to form anything. I can go out and create my own scenario where I'm helping giving back to the planet by going out and picking up one piece of litter at a time, or a whole bag of litter, and being responsible while I do that at the same time. Because I have to be responsible and be cognitive and think about everything that I do while I'm doing this. And the other great thing about being the litter lady, as we stand here today in Peterborough, Ontario, on a kind of chilly November day, is that if there's people out walking, they're going to see the litter lady and they're going to go, wow, what's that litter lady doing? Oh, she's paying attention to the environment and she cares. Maybe I should think twice before I drop something on the ground, because it ends up in the lake. And there are actually ducks there saying, thank you, litter lady. Thank you, litter lady, for coming and picking up the plastic, the straws, because they're going to end up in my little belly. So you can pick up one piece of litter a day with gloves. If you see, be careful, I have gloves on, and I will pick up that plastic fork and I'll put it in the recycling bin, because that's where plastic belongs. Or you could spend an hour a day of fresh air, exercise. Doesn't have to be great outside. Get your bag, get your wagon. And I did invest in a special tool. I did invest in this cool little gadget that, sometimes seniors use it to grab things in their house. And I thought, what could I use? Well, I found this really cool tool, and it also protects my hands and lets me get a little bit further. And it also demonstrates it's like an instrument for the environment. It's like people say, well, what's that? And what's your wagon? And what's the bags? And I also bring some wipes if I need some wipes. And I do recommend wearing gloves, disposable gloves, or gloves that you can wash when you go home. And if you don't have gloves, just make sure that you sanitize your hands immediately and never touch your face when you're doing this. Okay, and there's lots of other little tricks, but let's just focus on why I'm the litter lady, okay? And why I love it, and why the planet needs us to be cognizant of litter. So let's go on a little stroll with my little red wagon. And I'm gonna look and pick up. Oh, it's right here. Nope, not a big deal. Put it into, I could use my hands with something so small, but I'm just demonstrating. And I just put it into the bag. Something like that, just use your hand. So the point is here, and it's really important that how simple this is. I can walk down any street anywhere in the planet and pick up litter. And everybody who has that on their mind will make this planet better. Just one piece a day, or it could be 1,000 pieces. Doesn't matter. It's all good. I swear, Grace, I love picking up litter. It's like a little crazy. I'm just going to tell you, it's like I really enjoy it. Like, I don't know where it comes from, but I really feel good about it. And it's going to be built into every part of my life for the rest of my life. Ciao.
Can you hear the kookaburras? Wow, that was a nice little visit from our kookaburra friends there. They're also part of the miracle of life because, as we were saying, nothing in this world, not even a koala as handsome as me, or a kookaburra, could grow without soil. So just like this baby tree here, we also use the sun's energy to grow big and strong. Exactly. So this tree only needs to eat sunlight. That's so cool. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. But then, you know, what do the koalas eat? Well, obviously I eat the tree. I'm trying very hard not to right now, but you know, I'd really like to. I eat the tree and then I grow big and strong. And then, well, what else eats the trees? Well, some fruits from the trees maybe? The kookaburra that we just heard. And then you know what can eat the kookaburra? Well, for example, a snake. A snake could eat the kookaburra. Yeah. So, you know, it is sad when things die sometimes, but as you can see, the snake wouldn't be alive if it didn't eat the kookaburra, and then the kookaburra wouldn't be alive if it didn't eat the fruit from a tree like this. Well, you know, I'm quite lucky because it's unheard of for kookaburras to get, for koalas to get eaten by snakes. So, you know, thank my lucky stars, I'm very, very lucky about that. But, you know, what about you? What do you eat? Well, you eat some vegetables and some fruits and maybe some meat also. And, you know, the vegetables and the fruit are trees just like this. Or they use the same process of growing from the sun's energy just like this tree. And then the meat that you eat also probably ate grass, just like this tree, to grow big and strong. But then you eat that meat. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? So in the end, like the cycle of life, we all come from this soil. Let's look at it a bit more here now. So you know what's in this soil that makes it so amazing? So a tree like this, it's losing its bark here. It's losing its bark. Oh, you know, that's a good one. I can eat that. Sorry, I need a little snack break. Pause, please. Oh, sorry. I was just getting very, very hungry. All of this talking, like I told you, I just usually sleep all day. But what are we saying here? Yeah, so this tree is losing its bark because it's getting older and it's going back to the ground. And then what's going to eat this bark? So we can see, well, you know, you can't really see because you need a big microscope, which we don't have. We're just in the bush in Australia. We don't have microscopes here right now. But there's these really, really, really tiny little tiny bugs. And you know, maybe your mom and dad sometimes get some spray out and sprays in the summertime because you get some bugs that make you a bit itchy or they're a bit annoying because they try to eat your food. But you know, bugs are actually really, really, really important in making soil and compost. So there's little bugs in there that actually eat this bark. So they eat it, nom, 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 nom. But there's like millions of them. There's millions of them and we can't even see them because the miracle of life sometimes is so big and so small. So you know, when the bugs are eating this bark, it's like magic. It's like eventually they eat, and then this bark, you know, if we come here in 1 year, this bark will be gone because it's just going to turn into soil. So the bugs are eating, and you know what they're actually doing is a little bit rude. So maybe don't tell your parents I said this, but you know, it's just nature, and nature is honest and beautiful. It's eating, the bugs are eating, and they're farting. sorry. And they're actually going to the toilet as well. They're pooping. I'm just gonna say it. I'm a bit embarrassed, but that's what they're doing. And then eventually they've turned this into soil. And then, just like what we were talking about, so you know what's pretty crazy? It's actually little bugs eating, and then pooping out little bits of soil. And you know, then those really little bugs, there's even bigger bugs that are coming to eat them, and they're eating, and they're pooping, and they're eating, and they're pooping, and they're sleeping. Sorry. They're eating and they're pooping, and then bigger bugs are eating those little bugs, and then even bigger bugs are eating those bugs, and then birds are eating those little bugs, and then maybe a snake is going to eat the bird, and then, you know, I don't know what's going to eat a snake. Maybe a big eagle. An eagle is going to eat that snake, and then everything that goes into any animal or human or koala stomach, eventually we go to the toilet, and then we poop it out, and then those bugs come, and then they turn this bark, or poop, or pee, or grass, or leaves, or anything in this bush that's fallen on the ground, back into soil. So you know what's really cool? There is no waste in nature. There's none, because everything here, eventually, because of the little bugs, or because of the koalas, or the kookaburras, are going to get turned back into soil. And then this has all those nutrients in it, and then another little tree, like our friend over here, is eventually going to grow and going to turn into a big tree again. And then that tree's bark's going to fall, and then it's going to happen all over again. And you know those little bugs that I was talking about? Well, what they're doing is they're taking this bark and unlocking. They have a secret key. These bugs, they're like magic, because they have the secret key of nature. These little bugs are then unlocking the nitrogen and the phosphorus and the potassium so we can use it. Whether it's a koala or a kookaburra or a snake or a plant, baby tree. We all need those 3 elements in our bodies. And you have that in your body too, which is really cool. And I have it in my body as well. And then, like our friend Elise was saying, we live really big, strong, happy lives like this tree. But then eventually, it's time to go back to the soil. But it's okay, because this little tree is going to grow again. And I think that's really beautiful. Oh, you know, I've spoken quite a lot, and I think I deserve a snack here. So, if you don't mind, kids, I'm going to eat this leaf here, and then eventually that leaf is going to come back out, go back into the soil. So we don't really have to worry about anything. Nature does all the work with its little bugs, its koalas, and its kookaburras. Oh, one more thing. It's really nice. You can do this at home as well with your vegetables or your fruits or your meats or cheese or really anything that you can eat, or even any grass or leaves or anything that comes from nature. So you can put it all together and you can make compost. And then you can take that compost and you can put it a little bit in when you're growing some vegetables, and it's gonna give it a nitrogen boost, just like this little tree has here. That's why it's so green and beautiful. And you know, maybe our friends Grace and Bianca are gonna put a little compost recipe on the link down there, below the video.
Change.